Hi, this is Paul LaRue from Michigan. It's 16 degrees out on a Saturday morning, and what better time to do a video on my Sonics. I've been wanting to get some better braking power for quite a while, and I think I came up with a pretty good solution. So let's see if I can get in here without breaking my neck. This is the normal mode. All right. So, many of you probably recognize the main parts of this brake setup. I'm using the Sonics hydraulic brake caliper, I guess you could call it. And the setup that I think it's John Gillis came up with for the brake pedals and the Hager master cylinder, which has worked good for a lot of people. I think that most of the people that worked well for weren't using the Sonics hydraulic caliper. They're using some other caliper. But anyway, I wanted some better braking power. And another thing, I was quite often having issues with bubbles, not being able to really bleed my brakes very well. I used to run the brake line from here, over here, up to the top of the rudder pedal, and down to the top of the master cylinder. And that was great, kept the brake line out of the way, but it liked to capture bubbles up here that I was never able to get out. So I don't like having the brake lines down here very much, but the rudder pedal doesn't contact it. It doesn't go back far enough with this side either. You can see how I routed it. I'll probably replace these with, let me see here, these with rivets later on, but they hold pretty good. They've been holding for several days. So another modification that I made was, sorry about that, my phone timed out and stopped recording. But you can see I can actually press it all the way, and the full travel of these Hager master cylinders is just a hair over a half of an inch. So as I push down, which I can do it with 2 fingers all the way, you can see that the lever arm and the rod from the master cylinder are almost parallel to each other. So it doesn't take much pressure to hold it there. The only thing you have to be, I guess I'll say the only thing, maybe there's others, that you have to be concerned with is not going over center and turning your brake into a parking brake, which the right one is more apt to do. Well, I guess not right now. But what I discovered was this rod end at the bottom will contact the vertical part of the rudder pedal here and prevent it from going over center. Let me think what else. I don't know if you can see the dimensions that I used for this or not. I know that I had put it on there, like, try to get that posted. But anyway, the good news is I just went and tested it, and the most I had ever been able to get as far as ground RPM was maybe 2300 RPM, and that was with one time I had the hole back further, and I'm standing on the brakes, and it's really, difficult. This time I was able to go full throttle, and that's the first time like I was saying, that's the first time I was able to do that. And with as cold as it is out, full throttle is only like 2850. Air is so dense, but and I wasn't trying to lean or anything. But anyway, so far I'm really happy. It's great to not have to stand on the rudder pedals in order to get some good braking power. And anyway, one other thing that I wanted to mention. My phone keeps turning off. But after I bled the brakes, I got a syringe with a needle, with a pretty large diameter needle, and it's made for like refilling printers, the inkjet printer cartridges. So I filled that with brake fluid, and once you get these brakes bled, as long as you only remove one bleeder screw at a time, you can take out the bleeder screw and put drops of brake fluid in. And what I found is typically the calipers would be low, and so after bleeding, wait a day or two, take that out, and you can top it off, and then you get really firm brakes. I probably need to do a little bit more on this side, but the right is instantly has resistance. So anyway, that was just some lessons learned through trial and error. Been messing around with ferrite beads too, but I won't get into all that. So anyway, just wanted to share.